Governor Beshear holds an event to highlight his education budget proposal. And some counties get a financial boost to help clean up illegal dumps.
Plus, we are tracking some mild and wet weather for the weekend. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Governor Andy Beshear met with educators in Woodford County today as he continues to try and gain support for mandated teacher raises. The House version of the budget did not include that. House leaders say they want to leave those decisions up to local districts. Governor Beshear says teachers need to be guaranteed a pay increase from Frankfort. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what the governor and educators had to say.
Educators, bus drivers, and other school staff joined Governor Beshear in a bus garage in Woodford County in hopes of turning the tide toward teacher raises in this year's spending plan.
But the most, to me, heartbreaking evidence is the poll of public attitudes towards public schools, where for the first time, a majority of Americans, 54%, indicated that they did not want their children to become teachers.
Beshear is trying to drum up support for an 11% mandated raise for all Kentucky teachers and school staff. The version approved by the House includes language and funds encouraging districts to set their own raises.
While they are raising the per pupil amount in the formula, we have fewer students and property values are going up, which means the actual amount from the state are about the same as it is right now.
The budget is about a third of the way through the process. It was passed in the House. It will now be in the Senate, and then the Senate version will likely be different from what the House passed. So then a conference committee made up of lawmakers from both chambers will get together to iron out a compromise. Beshear is optimistic the talks with lawmakers will lead to a change.
But our budget, in putting aside these dollars, means that every district, every place in Kentucky, the independents, the counties, and the rest could all do this raise.
Beshear says if the legislature would adopt a universal pre-K, it would amount to a pay raise given the high cost of child care. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And we reached out to Senate Republicans to see if they would like to comment on what the governor had to say today, and they did not want to. Illnesses are hitting some school districts hard. At least 2 in eastern Kentucky were closed today, and we've learned all Wolfe County schools will be closed Monday and Tuesday. Those will both be NTI days. Paris City Schools in central Kentucky also canceled its in-person classes yesterday because of the high amount of illnesses reported across the district. Julia Navarez-Mungia has more on what's going around.
Dr. Katrina Hood says that in the past week and a half, her clinic has been filling up with several sick visits from school-age children. But she says that these illnesses are coming from all over, and it's not just a typical flu or strep.
Our clinic draws from all of the area around, so I've seen from 2 hours away, I've seen from Paris, from Winchester, so I know it's everywhere.
Exactly what is causing all of these call-outs from school is still unknown. And Hood says most kids are testing negative for common viruses, like the flu or strep.
We can just test for a few things, but there are so many viruses that are out there that can cause symptoms, but we don't always have a test to find them.
But Hood says that Paris City Schools is making the right move by canceling in-person classes for their students.
A child with a fever, those need to really stay home because they are going to spread it if you are feverish. And so even if you give Motrin and the fever goes away, if we send them to school, they really truly had a fever, even though the fever went down with Motrin.
And Dr. Hood says that she anticipates that these viruses will continue spreading throughout the colder months. In Lexington, Julia Narvaez-Mungia, WKYT.
Now in Paris, the city school system is cleaning and disinfecting over the weekend. They say they plan on being back in person on Tuesday.
We are tracking some light to moderate showers on this Friday evening, especially over those far southern counties close to the Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia border. Zooming into Campbell County, also Claiborne County, some heavier pockets of rain not too far away from I-75, also La Follette, and some more light to moderate showers close to Middlesboro and Bell County, pushing into portions of Lee County, Virginia as well. A live look across the region. We are cloudy this evening from the London Corbin Airport to Buffalo Mountain. Not much happening. Most of us are dry, but we are cloudy, also mild this evening. Most of us in the middle to even upper 50s, up to 57 for Moorhead, 54 in Jackson, also Manchester, 52 for London and Harlan County at this hour. So we stay mild as we go into this evening, all thanks to a cloudy sky. Low temperatures in the middle to lower 50s as you wake up and start the weekend. And again, more widespread showers on the way at times this weekend. That full forecast on the way in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A man is accused of hitting a teenager in the face in Laurel County. Deputies say they investigated a complaint of a man hitting a 17-year-old girl on Rivera Lane. 43-year-old Malvin Merced of London was arrested and charged with assault and child abuse and taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A woman is accused of stealing from a church in Knox County. Sheriff Mike Smith says 48-year-old Sandra Knuckles Lambden of Williamsburg is charged with theft of mail matter. She's accused of stealing a package after it was delivered to the old Poplar Creek Baptist Church's Ministries building off Kentucky 11. The sheriff says Lambden was also a fugitive wanted on a Whitley County bench warrant. She's being held in the Knox County Detention Center. Yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear announced several counties were awarded grants to clean up illegal dumps. WYMT's RJ Johnson tells us how officials in Floyd County are dealing with the issue.
Illegal dumping in Floyd County has been frustrating to deal with. Judge Executive Robbie Williams says they try to clean up as much as they can.
We try to get out and pick stuff up in the neighborhoods, and then we also offer the free dumping on Mondays and Fridays and the last Saturday of the month. So yeah, it is frustrating.
He says the majority of the dump sites have been in remote parts of the county. However, some are causing trouble for those living in the area trying to sell their homes.
Actually, it was beside of a home that we identified, and the neighbor was super excited that we got the dump cleaned up because he'd been trying to sell his residence for some time. It's more than just an eyesore. It decreases property values and actually it turns into a public hazard.
Some are also popping up near creeks.
The site that we identified yesterday was a site, it was on a creek bank. And what's going to happen is if we don't get in there and address this situation now, the next flood, it's in the creek and ends up in the Big Sandy River.
Williams hopes to apply for more grants to help with this issue. In Floyd County, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Judge Executive Williams says if you see illegal dump sites, you can report them to his office at 606-886-9193. Again, 606-886-9193. A former Knott County sheriff has died. Wheeler Jacobs died yesterday at the Hazard ARH. He ran the DARE program in the Knott County school system and was involved in many civic activities. His visitation will be Saturday from 6 until 9 p.m. at the Heineman Funeral Services Chapel. The funeral is Sunday afternoon at 2. Wheeler Jacobs was 70 years old. The longtime LKLP Community Action Council Executive Director is retiring. Ricky Baker's last day will be February 29th. Baker joined LKLP in 1990 and has served as the agency's executive director since 2010. We've interviewed him numerous times through the years. Officials say during his tenure, LKLP has grown to a $58 million agency dedicated to helping people help themselves through various programs. LKLP Chief Operating Officer Robin Gabbard will serve as interim executive director during the search to fill Baker's position. The 15th annual Shop and Share kicks off tomorrow, a statewide mission to bring in donations for domestic violence survivors. WYMT's Buddy Forbes shares the plans to pack pantries in Pikeville and Prestonsburg.
Saturday, donors have a chance to help domestic violence survivors in their communities.
You want your neighbors to do well. You want your community members to thrive. And what we do at the shelter enables families that may not be able to thrive at that moment, they get a start over. They get a fresh start. They get a new beginning, and they're going to get, maybe the first time in their life they'll have a safe home.
Turning Point Kentucky is setting up for the annual Shop and Share event to bring in donations for the pantry that powers the domestic violence shelter in the Big Sandy region.
I think Shop and Share is a great opportunity for community members to show their support to families that are going through trauma.
Organizers and volunteers will set up at Food City locations in Pikeville and Prestonsburg, accepting non-perishables to help fill the needs for people who are working to find healing.
So food, hygiene items, anything that a family would need to survive and live, we provide there for them for free while they're healing from all the trauma they've experienced.
Assistant Director Elizabeth Fitch says the event shows the survivors they are not alone in their journey.
So people that come out showing their support, it shows our advocates that the community is there for them and that these families have support outside of the shelter.
Shopping, sharing, and supporting. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The donations at the 2 locations will stay local, helping survivors in the Big Sandy region. You can support the cause from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Well, we are tracking a few showers across the region this evening, but higher rain chances are looming. The latest on that timing after this break. Plus,
one Lexington business is getting on the field for Super Bowl 58 in a unique way.